Good evening, all. Thank you for joining us. I'm sure we're in for a magnificent show tonight. My name is Peter Darrell, and I've been involved with Map for Life since it began way back in 2000. And in fact, the very first book, Map for Life, was not called Map for Life. It was called My History in the Making. And Glenn McQuirk put down his mission way back in 1999 as to equip people to pursue their purpose with passion and perseverance for life. And tonight we've got a very special speaker all the way from Montreal, Canada, although he was born in the Cameroon and does spend time flitting between the Cameroon and Canada. But he's certainly somebody who is pursuing life with passion and perseverance. Romeo Chouake is married with 3 children. It's just an incredible speaker. He's been around the world. He's Africa's most prestigious speaker. Currently, this month, he's been speaking as the guest speaker at the prestigious business school in Central Africa. He's had an article published in the Harvard Business Review. He's one of the founders of the first African Economic Employment Community, and he's certainly been described as the Chief Motivation Officer of Africa. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome Romeo tonight, and his subject is Make the Most of I Must.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Can I go on? Yeah.
Yes, you're live, Romeo.
Thank you very much, Peter, for your introduction. I'm very happy to hear everything you said about me today. You are blessed because you blessed me. And I hope everybody who is watching this video will be blessed by such powerful words. Thank you very much. You have elevated me. And I thank you please receive my gratitude. And now we said we must make the most of we must. And if I put it like if I speak like an individual, like Romeo, I would say I must make the most of I must. Now, to begin with, please let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, people gathered and they were students and they wanted to know more about leadership. So they wanted to know more about leadership and they were asking questions to leaders, to people in high positions, to consultants, facilitators, and they were asking the question, but please, can you tell us who is the best leader in the world? Who is the best leader in the world? Who can we represent as, unanimously speaking, the best leader of all time? And this question got thinkers thinking. And a lot of people said many things just to try and explain why they say that this leader is the best, that leader is the best, this is the best leader of all time, this is the best leader we can have in the world. Then there was an old woman, and this old woman kept quiet all the time. People were busy trying to give an answer. It was like a competition for who is going to say the right answer, the best answer to the question, who is the best leader in the world? And there was an old woman who said, you guys, ladies and gentlemen, I have been thinking about this my whole life. I'm more than 85 years now. And I came to the conclusion from my own point of view that the best leader in the world is a mom, is a mother. And people said, can you explain that? And she said, if you study the life of a mom, a mother is somebody who approaches all the challenges of life with an attitude of giving birth to a new reality. A mother is caring. She never complains. She's there to grow and educate and explore all avenues that can help the little become big, the small to grow a giant. A mother, if you try to understand it rationally, you can't understand why a mother of 4 kids God gave her 100% of love, just 100% of love. But where you may think that each and every kid among the 4 kids should have received 25% of the 100% of their love from the mom. Now, actually what's happening is that even if the mother is the mom to 4 kids, each kid will receive 100% of love, making it 400% of the love of the mother. This is where there is a mystery in the leadership of a mom. How could she have received just 100% of love from God, and now she is giving 100% of love to each of her kids, when I thought she would have divided the 100% of love into 4, making it 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%, 25% times 4. Now, there's a mystery here. And if there is a mystery, it's because God has deposited a secret into the mother to be the best leader of all time. She knows how to speak. She knows how to calm down. She knows how to understand. She knows how to grow people. She knows how to form a team. She knows how to sell a vision to a kid. She knows how to sell the future to her son, to her daughter. She knows how to be the person we can rely on, even when everybody has given up on us. A mother will still be there to understand what happened. A mother will still be there at the court to listen to the sentence that will be given to her son and accompany the son to serve the sentence and love him until love will never drop. We understand that part of leadership is love, and we want to put a mother in front of all leaders and say, please come and watch, come and learn. She won't speak out, she won't say it, but she is really executing love and leadership at the highest, at the maximum. Now we understand that this is based on a mother is the kind of person who said, I must do so swear. A mother is not, when a mother takes an engagement, she never changes the promise. Never, ever. When a mother takes a decision, that is it. She will take the decision to support you, and she will never change that decision until life ends. And even at the end of life, she will still love you from above. So we want to understand that in our lives, normally there is one aspect of our lives that is software. The software of our lives is our attitude. The software of our lives is our mental attitude, our emotional life, the emotional aspects of our life. We need to be ready to say, I must make the most of I must. We need to be ready to say I must, to proclaim, to declare. But it won't stop at a declaration, as a proclamation. No, we want to, first of all, declare the word, the verb that I must. I must. I want us to re-energize our desire for our mission. We are people on a mission. And unless we take the decision to proclaim, to declare, we said a good decision is not taken once and for all. A good decision is taken once every day. We take the decision back every morning. At the rise of a new day, we take that decision as if it is a new decision. And that is why we can persevere till the end, 20 years on a mission in Map for Life, and we'll still be there. We'll still be there because we have ups and downs. We have difficulties and opportunities. But if we decided that we must be in a mission, no matter what, that we will stay in that mission, that will not derive from the premier promise we made. This promise we made a long time ago was really based on the authenticity of our belief. We really believe, we believed in it. And if we believed in it, no matter what happened in the course of our making it happening, we are not going to change. Our results are not going to discourage us because we are sticking to the mission. We are people of purpose. We are people on a mission. And we must say every day, I must make the most of my engagement. I must make the most of my mission. This mission, I decided no one forced me into this mission, but I'm going to force myself into this mission. Sometimes our body, there is an aspect of our soul that is inclined to our carnal side, making us weak sometimes, making us feel like we want to go to bed, we want to resign. And we say, no, if you are a design, do not resign before the world can see the sign of your engagement. Now, this is a statement, but for this to become true, we need a lot of buckets of sweat, of hardship, of difficulties, of challenges, because we are a design. We were designed not to resign. We were designed so that we can be able to show the sign of our design for the world to see that we account for something. That is when the hardware comes in. So if we understand the software very well, then there is a hardware aspect of our lives that must come in. And this is when we say, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you will be successful in your mission. But we know that in Map for Life, our mission is not to be successful. Our mission, if we were to be successful, our mission is making the world to find the purpose and use a tool that can guide us to change our situation, to make sure that we don't only describe our situation. I recently came from Africa, and people are into the attitude of describing. Please don't describe. Circumstances cannot dictate your vision, but your vision can dominate the circumstance. So don't describe your circumstance. Stop describing your situation, but start subscribing to your destination. There is a destination for you. And in the word situation, there is action. In the word destination, there is action. Now, you need execution to move from your situation to your destination. But with the thinking, with the software that you must love, you must be a leader who has decided that I found my purpose. I discovered my mission. I know my statement in that mission. And I won't rest until the world has heard about it. The world can be my village. The world can be my country. The world can be my friends and family. The world needs not be the global world, but we are getting there because everything is possible to he who believes. So the hardware of it is that when we decide to do something, we become a doer who can execute, because we need to accomplish. If I decided that I must become phenomenal, I must become phenomenal. I cannot achieve the global agenda of Map for Life by being a normal standard person. So phenomenal is the opposite of normal. The new normal is to become phenomenal, to rise above my normal standard. We are looking for extraordinary people who are tired of being ordinary. And ordinary is not, ordinary and extraordinary is not in the in the you know it is not a representation. Ordinary, what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary is the action to make things happen, to shake the world, to fight against uh obstacles that are, counts advising us to stay the same, to not worry because the world is collapsing, because the pandemic is around, because there is no future anymore, because everybody is going to. No, we want to rise above circumstances because we know that if our software is coherent with our hardware, certainly we are going to use software and hardware to change the world. Our software will be the scripture. Our software will be the map. My anointing, my anointed plan, my anointing program. This is going to be our software, but our hardware is going to be execution. It's going to be action. It's going to be, the transformation itself, because it takes something physical to transform the world. So from the scripture of Map for Life to the architecture of our results, the architecture of our results, like designing purposeful lives, we can turn people who were just living, stealing the breath of life and looking for the bread for life. We can turn them into passionate, godly human beings who are here to turn the chaos into the cosmos and make sure that our world becomes better and better and better because somebody showed up and somebody was enlightened to say, hey, why am I here? And where do I want to lead these people? Where do I want to lead myself so that I can lead people? What do I need to change in the world? Because my life accounts for something. I don't want to die and just go off like my absence is equal to my presence. When your presence is not different from your absence, then you have started dying. And we should not allow this to happen. We are ready to live and use the breath of life with purpose that God gave us to come and colonize the earth, multiply it, and dominate the earth with an agenda of making a partner who can transform people with a map. The world is in desperate need of a map, a GPS that can show people the direction where they can lead their destiny and change the world. And we need both the software of Map for Life and the hardware of our execution capacity, so that we can make this world a better world, make our family a better family, make our children better people, and grow people wherever they are, looking for the light that is going to guide them to move from the situation where they are to the destination where they should be. And this is a transformation agenda for governments, for corporate, for organizations, for families, for individuals. And this is where Map for Life is a great project. It is the #1 global project for the 21st century. And we need to stick in here. The journey is long, and we must be prepared for that journey. This is why we can boldly say every day, I must engage in making the most of the must of I must, so that I can make the maximum of the maximum of my decision. And that when I've decided, I can really go down the road and show people that this is how you do it. This is how you use your physical presence in the world to help the world hear the message, to help the world know you are a mission, and to help people also find their mission and pursue their purpose with passion and purpose, using a tool, a system. A system, when I remember when they built a car, if you have a license to drive a car, you can drive every car, because the car is the system. But the system is looking for someone who can drive the car to take you from A to B. B being a position where you are more than what you were when you were at A, using your challenges, your crises, your chances, your problems, your difficulties, your opportunities all together. But you are more than this when you can wake up every morning and say, I must make the most of the must of I must. Thank you very much.
Wasn't that wonderful? I told you he was going to speak with passion, and he's about purpose and perseverance. It was so wonderful and really inspiring for us all. And thank you, Romeo. I'm looking forward to our panel tonight. And I sort of started off as I was making my notes, and I'm sort of saying, well, I'm glad that I've got two mothers on the panel, because it was a message, first of all, aimed at mothers, and how mothers are what it's all about. How mothers are the most significant leaders in the world today. The impact that mothers have on their children and the future. So, Norman, I think you and I will start off a little quietly at the moment, and we'll let the mothers lead the way. So, Amelia, can I throw the first one at you and say, could I have your comments on motherhood?
Yes, that is, the love of a mother is unconditional. And, I think Romeo was absolutely spot on when he focused on the power that a mother's love has to build a child and to prepare a child for adulthood and take the child throughout adulthood. I also remember how my father, one day, I was already in my 20s, and my father one day said to me, just remember, you will stay your mother's child no matter how old you are. And that is something that came up to me as Romeo was talking. You know, a mother's love is forever. Does not matter what your age is, and does not matter how far you are down in life. Your mother is always there. He also referred to, even if your mother passes on, she is still there from heaven. That you will
Yes.
always remember what your mother taught you.
And Octavia, I'd like your comments on motherhood. How many children have you got?
Hi everyone. I've got 2 kids. Peter, it's 28 and 25. I mean, as Romeo was talking, the part that was so exciting is the mystery in the leadership of motherhood. And he actually explored more on the 2 qualities that no matter what, as a mother, I want to believe those are our strength. The execution in the love and leadership, you know. So that to me was truly phenomenal. And I mean, there are times when my kids 25 and 28, then you can imagine I've been a mother for almost 28 years now. It is 28 years. And he actually took me back. And as a mother, as a woman, you know, the journey of parenting, the journey of motherhood, you know, there are times you step back and like, Lord, how did I do it? You know, being a mother, it will show you the strength. It will show you the love. It will challenge your qualities, you know, and the leadership of covering your family, your kids, and treating each child, knowing that this one's strength is this and the other one weakness is this. Therefore, I need to find ways to celebrate them both, you know? Like if I look at Robin, who is my son, and Pearl, they are completely different, you know? And yeah, that's just so phenomenal to say, you know what, the leadership and the love of a mother, if we can take that methodology and also pass it in our leadership, especially where we are placed, you know? And I think one other part that he truly challenged me to say, they asked the leaders, especially as mothers, the baton of leadership, the baton of love. If I had to be asked today and give a talk on motherhood, the leadership in motherhood, it's quite interesting how I would share that baton. Hey.
Yes. Norman, as a father, what are your comments?
Well, as a father, I mean, it suddenly opened my eyes. He spoke quite a lot, and 2 things came out for me. You know, he spoke about the commitment that does not change from a mother. She is consistent, and that really her leadership style is, its bedrock is love. And as we know, love really conquers all things. I mean, I still have an unresolved issue for me to understand how my mother, being coming from a single parent family, how my mother was able to take me through school, take me outside, and yet I knew how much she was earning. Up to today, the math does not add up. And that relentless, you know, commitment to getting what needs to, and really making the most. That's really about making the most of a must. And she it was a must. So as a father, today's talk has kind of opened my eyes to say, pay attention. You've got strong leadership just right next to you through your wife, who is also a mother. You've got great leadership lessons to take and learn from your mother, who's still alive. So there's a lot that we could just learn from how to make the most out of just the leadership that we have from our wonderful mothers.
Thank you, Norman. Romeo spoke of a mother of 4 children, and he spoke about the 400% that a mother gives. But just listening to you, Norman, and I think it's a very common phenomenon. I was going to say in Africa, but when I look at a few other things, I think it is worldwide, and it's not something that Romeo touched on. But we do have a lot of single parent homes, and where the mother is so important, and how she holds it all together. And in your case, that 400% went beyond just love. It was also in so many material things. And I think that's it's so important. I think when I look around the world today, and I'm digressing slightly because I do see one of the problems and challenges facing us is this question of single parent homes and this gender violence, and that's something that needs to be addressed, but it needs to be addressed with love. And that was a part of the message that I really enjoyed, was the way he spoke. He spoke about doing it with an all-encompassing love, and how important that love is. Would anybody like to say a little bit more on love?
Was it directed to me?
I was throwing it open to the panel, but go on, Norman.
Yeah. Well, we know that Scripture says, love conquers all things. So one of the things that we know we lack, or we get challenged with as humans, is in our journey of life, the need for consistency, is a challenge. We have our peak moments, we have our moments when we're low. But tonight, here's a revelation that if we were to really love all that we do, and beginning by loving ourselves and respecting those ideas that come to mind and seeing them through, that constant love reminder will get us to the point where we execute. And he spoke about how the difference, really execution is really the difference. And it is what makes the most out of I must.
Now, he spoke about, so often we just declare these things, and we talk the talk, but we don't walk the talk. And I think that's where that execution really comes in. Would somebody like to expand on that thought? Question of the execution. Octavia, you one who I know walks the walk.
I think I love the part where he said we have to make a decision on a daily basis and be in the mission to show up, and no matter what, don't drop the ball. And I mean, like the mother's love, as mothers, when we commit in doing something, we've got to make a plan. Where is that money for the school fees come from? Tomorrow we've got to make the school fees. We are in the mission. So as you engage with our must, it is so important to be reminded that we are in a mission and we have to make daily decisions. And I think he went on to, which was so my diamond tonight is, we have a global mandate, global agenda for MAP for Life. And for us to make a difference, we cannot do things in a standard way of doing things. We just have to be phenomenal, So as we engage our must, so every time you do something, you make that decision, you mentor, you love, you train, you engage with wherever you are placed. Remember, we cannot afford to do things in the standard way. Remember our global mandate. It's to map the world.
Yes. I love that. Amelia, have you got anything you'd like to add?
Yes, and specifically where he was talking about the mother's love, when you have 4 children, your 100% love does not get divided into 25% each, but your 100% love gets, you give each child even more than 100% love. And a mother understands her child's strengths and weaknesses and what to focus on and what to build on and what to do to help a child. So, it is just such a powerful concept that Romeo used tonight to link back to the map and how you must just decide what it is that you want and then absolutely go full out, commit and full out follow your actions to get to where you want to be and to continue your journey.
Yeah, and I might want to add that, Peter, that one of the reasons why, when speaking to action, as you were asking, one of the things that was said tonight is that the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is actually the action. And we find that a human being oftentimes find themselves not being able to act because somewhere in their mind they are in a place where either they don't have clarity on who they are about and what they are about, or somewhere in their mind they do not have a framework or something that's guiding them to move them into motion and action. And we are so fortunate from a Map for Life point of view that we have a tool that kind of helps us and gets us into a mode of self-discovery, a mode of putting together all that entire life into a plan and then executing on it. So that the importance of being active and making the most comes out of having a guided plan and a guided framework, which Map for Life really offers.
Yes. I love that. Yes. And how often do you need to use it?
Daily.
Oh, actually,
Daily.
I hope that's evident. I hope that's evidence enough to your question.
And I think just to add on that, Peter, the beauty with Map for Life tool, I was so excited when Romeo was sharing about Map for Life. It's a universal tool, and you use it in your wheel of life. Take each area of your life, you use the same methodology. And I mean, Map for Life also emphasizes, I remember when I was still in corporate, I used to be doing so well in corporate, and my spiritual part, those were my strength, right? And the other areas were not doing so good. And based on that, it felt like, yes, I'm doing well corporate-wise, I'm doing well spiritual-wise. However, the other areas that were not doing well were affecting me in many ways. When I was introduced to Map for Life, the importance of having that round world. It doesn't matter how big it is, but it has to be round. And the beauty is it's the tool that you can use in each area of your life. It's universal. Hey.
No, so true. I just think this question of starting anew each day and reminding ourselves, subscribing to our destination. I talk about lighting the campfire every morning, and that we need to do that. When I started with Map for Life, I tended to be of the view that it was wonderful. You would set your targets for the year, but so often you set them, but like New Year's resolutions, they sort of whittle down, and that you need this constant revision. And I'm saying that we need to be lighting the fire every morning and looking at it and taking action on a daily basis. Would anybody like to talk about that action on a daily basis? Norman?
Yes, you cannot expect to be successful if you do not take action on a daily basis. It's like with motivation. They say bathing doesn't last, and that's why we recommend you do it daily. It's the same thing with motivation. It's the same thing with daily action. If you are not consistent in your actions, you cannot be successful. You cannot reach your destination.
Thank you for that. Yes. Octavia, what is the biggest walk you've ever done?
You mean the physical walk, Peter?
Yes, that's yes. And what did you do there?
Oh, yes. The Tankwa Camino one, we actually walked 259 kilometers in 10 days. So on average, we walked 20 kilometers per day. And mind you, that was sometimes there will be rain, sometimes there will be heat, snow, and wind, So, yeah.
Yes.
Actually, now that you're mentioning that, Peter, since I was involved with Map for Life, I've always been involved with, now that we're talking about community projects, I've always been involved with community projects, but I was all over. I never had a structured way of doing things, But since I started using Map for Life as my accountability partner, but also to commit to what I do, I find myself doing things that were never even in my bucket list. But
Yes.
if it's not in my bucket list, God will bring the team or the people that one way or the other will find ways that complement each other. And when I look at my Map for Life plans, goals, things that I want to do, it's like, wow, I did not plan for that. But however, it links to this pillar, therefore we can collaborate. I think the beauty with Map for Life, when you engage with it daily, and it is your accountability partner, it will also help you to identify the team that you use to collaborate with, because I'm sure you will all agree that the more we grow, we become so much in demand, and everybody would want to work with us. But not everybody fits to your plan. And when you have to make that tough decision, you don't know where to start, you go back to your tool.
Yes. I love the way you talk about collaboration, and I think that's part of it. When we focused on it, I think these things just fall into place. Glenn and I had breakfast this morning, and we were talking of a community project that Glenn started, where it was cleaning up the pavements in his suburb. And it was the case of he started it, and what happened? And the next thing, out of the blue, one of his neighbors says, "I've got this old trimmer. It's been lying in my garage for several years. It just needs a service, but here it is as a gift." And it was given to Glenn, and Glenn collected it this morning back from the repairer. And now that was a gift, but if he had to go out and buy it, it would have cost him 7,000 rand. But because he'd started on a project out of space, out of whatever you want to call it, the provision was made. And I think that's when we take action, miracles like that occur. And it was just so wonderful to hear Glenn's story about provisions suddenly coming into to play like that. And it's a case that we talk about my action plan, and when my action plan is connected to the master's action plan, abundant provisions happen. It was so wonderful to hear that. So has anybody else got a story like that they'd like to share? No?
I can just share, now that you say, Peter, the provision will be always there. You just need to show up. I always say God is looking for a willing heart, And
Yes.
I mean, the story that I've shared about the Tankwa Camino Challenge, we were raising awareness about human trafficking and also fundraising for, the human trafficking projects for the organizations that are helping the victims, for the restoration and starting over. And the Tonka happened in Cape Town. And trust me, the resources that I thought I had, for some reason, they just disappeared. I remember when it was just 2 days before the closing date to register. And I said to my team, guys, I've got literally, please add this on your prayer list. I've got 2 days to confirm if I'm going to go to Tankwa or not. All I needed was the registration fee, and the rest of the amount, I had more than enough time to fundraise for that. And literally a day before the closing date, I reached out to this organization, and it's like I just came at the right time. They just launched the End Human Trafficking portfolio, and they needed the organization to support. And they did not just sponsor my registration fee, they sponsored us for the whole trip to Tankwa. And not just that, for my organization, the organization that I was supporting, they donated on the spot 20,000 rands, you know. So when you choose to show up, whether you have the resources or not, God is just looking for a willing heart.
Wonderful. And I think that's the power of starting. And once we start, that's when the miracles appear.
Absolutely.
I think that's a wonderful story to end. Romeo said, I must become phenomenal. And to do that, I must do the maximum of the maximum so that I become the best of the best. I talk about maximizing the opportunity, maximizing everything. So let's leave it on that with the thought of let's maximize the opportunities that we've got, become the best of the best. Thank you, team. I think that was wonderful. And thank you to Romeo, and thank you to all our listeners. Thank you.
Thank you.